Hey, Go Small, Live Large viewers. Thanks for tuning in today. We have a special guest here. You are?
Kyle.
Hey, Kyle. Thanks for joining us today. So we're sitting in our backyard, and if you look back to one of our very first videos where we kind of launched the fantasy plan, we were sitting in our backyard in the Chicagoland area, Forest Park, Illinois. Today we're sitting in our new home base in Florida backyard, and just want to kind of call out another big milestone, phase 2 here of the so-called fantasy plan. So Kyle, thanks for joining in today. Appreciate that.
Glad to be here.
So if you recall back and review that video, we are kind of chunking this whole journey off in a couple of phases, and that was the thought process there was to make it more manageable and learn as we go. And phase 2 was kind of putting our house in Chicago on Airbnb, and Kyle did a fantastic job of doing that, and that proved that Airbnb worked really well, that it offloaded the financial overhead, and we kind of cut our teeth, so to speak, on Airbnb. That allowed us to purchase the Travato and then start the channel around that whole concept. So that was really the phase 1 of getting all that taken care of. So phase 2, we want to spend a little time on that today, and phase 2 is getting in the rig and getting home base reestablished in Chicago. So what we did is we again sold our house in Chicago. Kyle has spent up a second property in Chicago, or in Florida, that's a full-time Airbnb, and now our primary residence here, which is going to be part-time Airbnb. Kyle, what are some of your thoughts on the whole Airbnb transition out of Chicago, Eastview Manor, and now Seabreeze Oasis?
Well, I'm trying to find an opportunity that brings the financial, that help us financially, so it can support our fantasy plan. The property that I would like to have as soon as we are through. I don't know how long we're going to take to go through the fantasy plan. It may be 5 years, maybe 10 years, maybe forever, but at least I can try to think of something to be creative to build a home base, just in case down 5 or 10 years down the line we decided to retire and we want to stop moving around, and at least we have the home base is ready to go. What Airbnb allows us to do is give us that financial support, and no money out of pocket, except for we have the property, and it generate more than paying the mortgage, and actually give us extra money on top of what we were doing. So that's my thought on Airbnb.
I think the lesson here to take away is, I think to be full-time or even part-time RVer, you don't have to sell everything. That there's a mechanism now around the Airbnb house sharing economy that allows you the freedom and to offload some of that financial overhead to pursue those dreams, and you don't have to sell everything. Okay if you do, but in our case we didn't think that was the best practice, so this is working out pretty good.
Yeah, exactly, working out great. We're sitting in the backyard on our second home, actually. This is allow us to buy another home, and I will continue doing the Airbnb business while we're doing the fantasy plan. I will fly out to wherever.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So many viewers and friends and family have asked, so is Kyle going with you? And how does Kyle fit into this? So please.
Yeah, so the answer is yes and no. Okay, so the beauty about this is we can divide and conquer, right? But it also allowed us to do and accomplish what follow our dream, and be together. So wherever Scott is out, he's going to be in the row. I will actually fly in the weekend. unfortunately, I like to stay at Marriott property. I've been traveling and do my job. Been traveling for a long time. I have a lot of Marriott points, a lot of mileage. It allowed me to go meet Scott on the weekend wherever he land, and then I continue to fly out and do my career and my plan and pursuit. Or
so you're a fair weather RVer. So
I am part-time.
So Kyle, if we could put a king size bed in the Travato.
I agree. And maybe.
Maybe. That's a definite maybe.
And maybe I can. I'll stay there for one night.
How about the toilet and the shower?
I know. Unfortunately, I have a hard time with those, but it's okay. As long as I have a Marriott right next to me, I'm okay.
So again, today's a big day. We've had a number of big milestones in the last 6 months. Selling out of Chicago, taking delivery of the rig, establishing home base in Florida. Today's another big milestone on that journey. I'm heading into full-time van life. Really not coming back for many months probably, with Kyle flying in to meet me here and there. Just want to share that with the channel, and I just really appreciate each and every one of you for following our journey. I'm excited to get on the road to share some of the travel stuff. I feel like this is the Winnebago Travato channel, which I'm sharing my passion around that. But now let's get some travel going. So again, where this whole thing started, literally a year ago, February 2018, was just some dissatisfaction, hitting the bee's nest, and how do we rewrite our lives? And part of the inspiration for how to do this differently came from other RV YouTubers, and part of my passion here is sharing with you folks what we've gone through, what we're going through, how we're doing this, doing that, what the forward looks like. So, really the end game here is to just inspire some of you to take action and get out of your comfort zone. I think that's the big thing that we've really learned in the last year, is that we can actually do a tremendous amount if we are working together. If you have a fantasy plan, but Kyle says divide and conquer, and that's exactly what. Let's use our strengths to do, apply our strengths to get the best input. So I think the bottom line is, are you getting out of your comfort zone? Do you have a fantasy plan? Do you have a way to make your dreams become a reality? Because 12 months ago, this whole thing wasn't even a fantasy. It wasn't even a germ of an idea, really. But as we started to think through it, it became the fantasy plan, and now we're sitting next to this lovely pool, and I'm getting ready to get to the road. Mm-hmm. So, any thoughts on just kind of going through comfort, discomfort, and change, and accelerated pace of making stuff happen?
Well, I thought is my thing is it's been an amazing journey since our first video, and everything have fallen in line perfectly. And we couldn't plan it any better. From selling the house, moving, buying new property, buying another property, get the RV, start the channel. I continue my career, and everything just fall perfectly in line. We didn't even conquer. We didn't even face or encounter a structure that kind of blocking us from continue doing all this. Everything was work out really smoothly. We couldn't done it any better. Yeah,
it's true.
My thing is we both passionate about the stuff that we are doing, and this allowed us to do our passion, be together at the same time, building quality of life and an empire that down 5 to 10 years down the line for when we're ready to retire.
Yeah. And the channel's part of that, building the brand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Kyle mentioned something there around career and things just falling into line. So you're probably aware that my employer, LexTech, had a chat with my CEO and managing director in November, kind of exposed this whole thought to them, and we've been test driving that. And they've really given it a thumbs up. So now I'm a full-time working digital nomad for my full-time job from the road, which again just allows all this to keep in motion, which is just extraordinary. So
Yep. So, yeah.
shout out to Team Lextech for helping and supporting me on that.
Exactly. The same type of thing.
And one great compliment I got from my boss was, because I have been traveling for the last couple of months here and there for a week or two at a time. His compliment was, "We can't even tell you're working from an RV." Perfect. So I've interrupted, sorry.
No, that's all good. I mean, Scott's Lextech is thanks to his company allowing him to do what he do all this, and at the same time, the company I work with, InFocus, allow me to work remotely and allowed us to do all this too at the same time, and to do our job. Yeah.
And I think the point there is, do you have to quit your job and be a starving artist, starving YouTuber? No, I think we've proven that if you have a job that allows you to work remotely, if you talk with your employer, would they be willing to do that? There's more and more employers that are doing that these days. Again, it attracts great talent and keeps great talent. So again, if staying with your employer helps accelerate your fantasy plan, then start having some conversations with them. Prove it out a little bit. I think would be our advice there, right?
Yeah, but I mean, look at this. You look at the backyard.
I should get a tour. Huh?
And we got all this without quitting our job, and
It's true.
able to accomplish all this
and do a good job for our job.
and do a good job for our jobs. At the same time, build a career and empire down the line.
So
Yeah.
just want to share that with the channel, and thanks again for tuning in today. Really appreciate that. And until we meet again, we wish you to journey on.
Yeah.
Make sure this looks good. I turned the waterfall on, but I think it'd be too loud. Okay.
Okay.